The day she told me to leave, I was standing in my own kitchen, holding a cup I had bought 20 years ago. It was the chipped blue one. The one my husband used to call lucky, even though it had survived more falls than any of us. Amy, I think it's time you found somewhere else to stay. Her voice was calm. Too calm. I didn't turn around immediately. I just stared at the sink, at the sunlight touching the edge of the counter, as if the house itself was trying to tell me something. Somewhere else. I repeated softly. Yes, she said. This is our home now. Our home. I remember thinking how strange it sounded, like hearing your own name spoken by a stranger. I set the cup down carefully. My hands didn't shake, but something inside me did. Because I knew, in that moment, she truly believed what she was saying. And that hurt more than anything. I had lived in that house for 26 years. Every wall held a memory. The corner near the window still had a faint mark from when my son, Ion, tried to kick a ball inside the house and missed. The kitchen smelled like every Eid morning we had ever shared. It wasn't just a house. It was a life I had built brick by brick, sacrifice by sacrifice. After my husband passed away, it became even quieter. But Ion stayed with me. He was a good son. Gentle. Soft-spoken. The kind who would sit with me over tea without checking his phone every minute. When he told me he wanted to get married, I was happy. Her name is Zara, he said, smiling in that shy way he had since childhood. And when I met her, she seemed perfect. Polite. Respectful. Always speaking softly. Bringing small gifts. Calling me Amy even before the wedding. I thought I had gained a daughter. And maybe, in the beginning, I had. Things didn't change overnight. That's the thing about these kinds of stories. They don't explode, they slowly shift. At first, it was small things. Zara rearranged the kitchen. She said it was more efficient this way. I didn't argue. It was her home too now, I told myself. Then she started making decisions without asking. New curtains. New furniture. Even repainting the guest room. It just felt outdated, she said one afternoon, smiling as if it was a harmless comment. Outdated. I remember touching the wall later that night, as if I could still feel the color that used to be there. Then came the silence. Ion stopped sitting with me as often. Dinner became shorter. Conversations became careful. And Zara, she started correcting me. Not rudely. Never directly. But enough that I began to feel like a guest in my own home. You should rest more, Amy. I'll handle this. You don't need to worry about these things anymore. It sounded kind. But it didn't feel kind. The day everything changed started like any other. I woke up early, made tea, and noticed the living room looked different. Boxes. My things. Stacked neatly near the door. I stood there for a long moment, trying to understand what I was seeing. Before I could ask, Zara walked in. Oh, you're awake, she said. What is this? I asked, my voice quieter than I expected. She didn't hesitate. I thought it would be easier this way, she said. You can take what you need. Take or wear. She folded her arms gently. Not aggressively. Just, firmly. Amy, we've been meaning to talk to you. Ion appeared behind her. He didn't meet my eyes. This house, it's not working anymore, Zara continued. We need our own space. Our own life. I felt something tighten in my chest. Our own life. I repeated. This is your life. No, she said, shaking her head slightly. This is your house. And that's the problem. I looked at Ion then. Beta. He swallowed. Looked at the floor. Maybe it's better if you stay somewhere else for a while, he said softly. For a while. The words echoed strangely. I stepped closer to the boxes. Touched one. You packed my things? I asked. Zara nodded. Only the essentials. Essentials. 26 years, reduced to essentials. And where exactly am I supposed to go? I asked. She hesitated for the first time. You could stay with your sister, she suggested. My sister lived in another city. We hadn't spoken properly in years. I laughed then. Not loudly. Not bitterly. Just, quietly. Because in that moment, I realized something. They weren't asking me to leave. They had already decided. I didn't argue. That surprised them. I walked past them, into my bedroom, the same room I had shared with my husband for decades. Closed the door. Sat on the edge of the bed. For a long time, I didn't cry. I just looked around. The wardrobe. The curtains. The small crack in the ceiling that we had always said we'd fix. And then I opened the drawer beside my bed. Inside, wrapped in an old cloth, was a file. I hadn't touched it in years. Not because I forgot, but because I never thought I'd need it. My husband had been very particular about things like this. Always keep things in your name, he used to say. Not because you don't trust people, but because life changes. At the time, I thought he was being overly cautious. Now, I understood. I took the file, stood up, and walked back into the living room. They were still there. Waiting. Zara looked slightly impatient. Ion looked uncomfortable. I placed the file on the table. "What is this?" Zara asked. "Something I should have shown you earlier," I said calmly. I opened it, turned it toward them, and waited. Silence filled the room. Ion leaned forward first. His eyes moved quickly across the page. Then stopped. "Ami," he whispered. Zara stepped closer. "What is it?" she asked. He didn't answer. So she looked for herself. And I watched her expression change. Slowly. Carefully. Like someone realizing they had misread a situation completely. This says," she started, but couldn't finish. "Yes," I said gently. "The house is in my name. Not his. Not ours. Mine. My husband had transferred everything years ago. Quietly. Without making a big deal of it. Because he believed in security. Because he believed in me." Zara stepped back slightly. But we thought," she said. "I know what you thought," I replied. Ion looked up at me then, his eyes filled with something I hadn't seen in a long time. Guilt. "I'm sorry, Ami," he said. And for the first time that day, I felt something break. Not anger. Not satisfaction. Just sadness. I didn't ask them to leave. I didn't raise my voice. I just sat down. "This house was never the problem," I said quietly. "It was never about space, or independence." Zara didn't speak. Ion looked like he wanted to say something, but didn't know how. "You wanted a life," I continued. "And I understand that. I really do." I paused. "But pushing someone out, especially someone who built that life for you, is not how you create your own." Zara lowered her eyes. For the first time since I met her, she looked unsure. "I didn't mean to hurt you," she said softly. "But some words come too late." I nodded anyway. "Maybe you didn't," I replied. "But you did." That evening, the house felt different again. Not tense. Not loud. Just quiet. Ion sat with me after dinner. Like he used to. He didn't say much. But sometimes, silence says enough. I still live in that house. The same walls. The same kitchen. The same chipped blue cup. Zara is still there too. But something has changed. Not in the house, but in the understanding. Respect isn't something you assume. It's something you show every single day. And sometimes, people forget, until they're reminded. I never wanted to prove anything. I just wanted to belong, in the home I never left. So tell me, if someone tried to erase your place in your own life, would you walk away quietly, or remind them exactly where you stand? And if you've ever been in a situation like this, where silence felt heavier than words, I would really like to hear your story. You can share your thoughts in the comments. I read them more often than you think. If this story touched you, even a little, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps these stories reach people who might need them. Thank you for watching this video.